2018 and January 2019. The High Commissioner cautioned Ghana against inhuman treatment of Nigerians, warning that any ill treatment of Nigerians would not be acceptable to the Nigerian government, while it is improper to deport Nigerians from alleged illegal stay in Ghana.
The Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, today played host to a group of foreign journalists who came into the country to observe the 2019 presidential elections. The group told the DG that they are here to ensure that the 2019 polls is credible and a reflection of the wish of the majority of the Nigerian people. Receiving the delegation, the Director General told them that the country is fully prepared to go to the polls on Saturday, as the challenges it's encountered between the period before the election has been surmounted. TVN's correspondent Idoko Emmanuel has the report.
A group of foreign journalists on election observer mission to Nigeria Tuesday paid a courtesy call on the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, in Abuja. The group, who were on a familiarization tour of VON ahead of the rescheduled 2019 general elections, told the DG that despite the various challenges the country encountered build up to the polls, they hope and expect that the Nigerian people build confidence around the country's electoral process.
We hope, as international observers, that we'll get to see a growing confidence in the process. There have already been challenges to this process. The judiciary, there are questions because of the suspension of the Chief Justice. INEC, there are questions because of their difficulties in figuring out when they can hold the election. It's reducing people's confidence a little bit today, but we hope to see over the next week that confidence build again, so that when the final figures are tallied, people are satisfied that they exercised their democratic right. We'll be very happy to see that.
Mr. Okechukwu, who thanked them for their interest in Nigeria's electoral process, used the opportunity to enumerate some of the exceptional achievements of the Buhari-led administration in terms of infrastructural development of the country.
What Buhari did that's exceptional is that they had embarked on a massive infrastructure development of the country.
Yeah.
5,000 kilometers of federal roads, 5,000 kilometers of standard gauge rail line,
As well.
5,000 additional megawatts of electricity. The most massive, ambitious by any one region since independence. And it's also trying to aim at food sufficiency in food production with a little resource. No matter the criticisms they might have in terms of selectivity, in terms of appointments, but in terms of infrastructure, it's nationwide. It's time to grapple, because there was a day in an informal discussion, he was asking us actually, why is there gross unemployment? And we said it because there's no infrastructure
To give to people.
Yes, and even those who are looking at the private sector to drive the economy, there's little they can do unless there's sufficient infrastructure, like electricity. One of the biggest power plants we're going to have is somewhere in Taraba State. It's just finished the arrangement. It's going to produce about 3,000 megawatts of electricity. Mandela Hydro Power Plant.
The DG also told the delegation that the reports that some card readers might have been stolen or missing as a result of the postponement of the election holds no water, as those in possession of those cards won't be able to use them at the polls.
They were telling us stories of some people that packed the car readers. I laughed my head off. I said, what are they going to do with it? Because he must bring it to the polling unit.
Yeah.
So how do you bring it there? They said, no, they can be filling it up somewhere. It will be linked up to the system. They will hack the system. Is it possible to hack the system?
I hope not.
No. I told them there are firewalls. You cannot procure such an equipment without sufficient firewalls.
The observers assured the DG that their major concern as observers in the upcoming election is to see how major players like the media, security operatives, INEC, and others involved in the 2019 polls will conduct themselves in order that the will of the Nigerian people prevail come Saturday. Idoko Emmanuel, TVN News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) said that the deployment of voting materials to the 774 local government areas of the country will be completed on Thursday. While it has completed 100, the configuration of the smart card readers, which will be used for the accreditation of the voters on the 23rd of February and 9th of March 2019. Updating the media and observers of the preparedness of the Commission on Wednesday, Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said deployment commenced on Wednesday in 10 states. This, he said, will be completed on Thursday. He also acknowledged that though the report of missing materials in some states, good progress has been made in the area of logistics, and further stated that only accredited diplomats will be allowed to move about on the day of elections. Some residents of Kaduna State have aired their opinion on the security reports issued by the state government on the eve of election, stating that about 66 bodies were discovered in Kajuru area of the state. The report and the postponement of the elections brought a lot of tension in the state throughout Saturday and Sunday, as most residents stayed at home monitoring the situation. Speaking with our correspondents at different newspaper stands in the state, most residents were disappointed with the report, while others were in full support of the state government.
The issue of the security report, you know, Kaduna State is been a state that there's kind of maybe misunderstanding within the southwest and south with the north. But the issue of the security report that came, I wouldn't have in any way blamed the governor, because I believe that you can't expect the governor to be everywhere. The only thing I noticed was that maybe he got an information that he had to act immediately. But you know, tension is everywhere. But the news was so wrong to come at that same time. But the only thing is that we were like, the tension is making us to feel as if maybe that news was so wrong that we are eager to blame the governor. I will never blame the governor. I believe that after we find out that maybe the information was wrong, the needful has to be done. So I believe things will work.
The issue about our governor in Kaduna is power drunker. It's a power drunker. Why do I say it's a power? He doesn't care about human being. If you care about human being, in anything you do, you will do it straightforward. You will let people know that you are doing the right thing. By telling the whole state that they kill 66 people in Kajuru, along the line, everybody feel it. But I know it's a plan. If not plan, why during election? So we realize that when the GOC went there yesterday, we saw everything, we watch, we do everything, we see that it's a lie. And about, we were being told, they interviewed people there, people who said it's only 11 people that be killed when it's not even now. It is not even the present time, I say. So our governor is deceiving us, and we shouldn't deceive ourselves.
That is what the governor did. He did, because some people are sabotaging this thing. They don't want the election to hold in Kaduna State. That is why it's a deliberate plan to stop the election. But the governor stood on his toes to see that this election must hold. Whatever the circumstances, he made sure that this election must hold. And I really commend him on that. They are doing it just to stop the election to hold, but he's trying his best, and which I really commend him on that.
Thank you very much.
I saw the sitting governor of Kaduna State, the person of Nasir Yerufa, boldly speaking on the telly. No security men, no bodyguard, only him and alone and the cameraman. He was making this emphasis that 6 people were killed in Kajuru. And on the eve of the election, on the first note, we have suffered so much in this state, mostly Kaduna State, in terms of crisis. We are trying to see how peace can reign between the two people, which is the Christian and the Muslims. We don't like crisis. Kaduna State has been one of the peaceful states that I used to know, right from when I was a little child, growing up to see that things like this is happening. To my own greatest surprise, I'm not happy that the governor himself will come out, will be the one to say it, that 6 people have been killed, and which is a Fulani man has been killed. I think we are expecting the governor to see how peace can reign between these two people, which is the Christian and the Muslims. On a serious note, if the Fulani man hear that something like this happened, he will not be happy. Before you know, there's going to be a replacement attack in that very community. If something like this happened, but because me, I heard about it that this thing happened on Sunday, but on the eve of the election, the governor came out and said, I'm not a politician.
The distribution of the trader money, a no-interest loan scheme championed by the Nigerian government, was disrupted by violence on Tuesday in Ogun State. Trouble started during the distribution at the Lafenwa market in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, on Tuesday, when the traders were allegedly asked for their permanent voter card numbers in exchange for the no-interest loan. Members of the Abeokuta Northwest Local Council Development Area were accused of leading the hoodlums to hijack the process, while the market leaders who led the distribution were arrested and taken away by some security personnel to an unknown location. The Nigerian Army on Wednesday in Abuja organized a press conference to re-emphasize the roles of the Nigerian Army during the forthcoming general elections. Correspondent Uchechi Nlemuwa was there and completes the report.
In view of the forthcoming general election, the Nigerian Army on Wednesday organized a press conference, a conference which had in attendance the principal officers, directors and general officers across Nigerian Army formation, and at reviewing the roles of the Nigerian Army during the forthcoming general election. The chairman of the event, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Toko Yusuf Buratai, in his remark, noted that Operation Conference was organized by the Nigerian Army 2 weeks ago to strategize on the roles of the Nigerian Army during the forthcoming general election. According to the Chief of Army Staff, the postponement of the election necessitated the need to review the decisions taken at the last conference. Lieutenant General T.Y. Buratai reiterated that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable, adding that anyone who tries to undermine the democracy by interfering in the electoral process will be dealt with.
I wish to first remind all of you that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Hence, those who seek to undermine our democracy by interfering in our electoral process will be seen as enemies of Nigeria and dealt with appropriately. Our role is aptly captured in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and we must defend Nigeria's territorial integrity as well as act in aid of civil authority when called upon to do so. Therefore, commanders must work with all stakeholders, interest groups, and agencies to avert any act by any individual, groups, or entities that seek to undermine this process.
The Chief of Army Staff also noted that Nigerians have expressed so much disappointment regarding the postponement of the election. He urged the Nigerian Army and other security agencies to rise to this challenge and ensure peaceful outcome of the forthcoming general election.
As expected, Nigerians have expressed general disappointment with the postponement of the elections. The postponement has also increased apprehension in the populace and the international community with regards to safety of voters and the electoral materials. It is therefore vital that the Nigerian Army, along other security agencies, rise up to the challenge of ensuring a peaceful outcome to this general election, so as to give confidence to Nigerian citizens and to reassure the international community about our electoral process.
On some persons who are inciting the army to disobedience, Lieutenant General Buratai affirmed that the Nigerian Army will remain neutral and apolitical, adding that any incitement of the Nigerian Army against democracy and constituted authority will not be tolerated.
It is unfortunate to hear persons who are aspiring to rule this country again inciting the army to disobedience. We have consistently stated our position in the political dispensation to remain neutral and apolitical. However, direct and public incitement of the Nigerian military against democracy and constituted authority will not be tolerated. I request such persons that make such statements to withdraw this inciting statement.
All the security agencies are therefore implored to commence preparation, as all hands must be on deck to ensure a successful outcome of the forthcoming general election. I am Uchichi Lemowa, reporting for TVN News.
The Congress for Patriotic Citizens, CPC, has called on Nigerians to rise up to the challenge of confronting and subduing unpatriotic, corrupt and selfish past political office holders in order to save Nigeria from total collapse. Former Senate President Ahmed Ebute made the call on behalf of the CPC at a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday. He said the alleged alliance between ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo and leaders of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) was a clear indication of a regrouping of past corrupt political office holders that are bent on running Nigeria aground.
We find it completely distasteful. Obasanjo's President Dango and conspiracy against Nigeria. What Obasanjo and co have planned is beyond imagination. Every word of Obasanjo from his first open letter to the last snaps of a shameful and dishonorable outing from an elder statesman.
Ebute accused Obasanjo of abusing every opportunity he had to set Nigeria on a speedy and progressive path during his tenure as president, noting that the unholy union between Obasanjo and the leadership of the PDP would kill the entity called Nigeria. The former Senate president, who said all the letters Obasanjo wrote to the President Buhari were partisan and dishonorable of an ex-president, also noted that having stifled opposition from 1999 to 2007, Obasanjo, instead of inciting Nigerians with predictions of electoral violence, should rather acknowledge the fact that the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has performed credibly and so deserves a second term.
We urge Nigerians to rise up to the challenge of confronting and subduing unpatriotic, corrupt and selfish past political office holders like the Obasanjo in order to save Nigeria from total collapse. We have more faith in the progress of Nigeria under Buhari presidency than an Atiku.
The National Working Committee of the Opposition Social Democratic Party (SDP) have expelled the party's zonal chairman, Southwest Chief Supo Sonibare, over anti-party activities and insubordination and undermining the party's leadership decisions. In a letter signed by the party's national chairman, Professor Tunde Adeniran, and the national secretary made available to TV and correspondents, the committee noted that Sonibare's actions and inactions have been responsible for the stunted growth of the party in the southwest of the country, particularly Lagos State, where the party has been factionalized and lost elections in questionable circumstances, while his general attitude showed a lack of competence and capacity to lead. The committee cited relevant sections of the party's constitution, therefore approved the immediate expulsion of Sonibare from the party, subject to the review and ratification in due course by the party's National Executive Council. The letter, however, noted that the expelled chairman reserves the right under the party's constitution to appeal the decision of the National Working Committee within 7 working days of receipt of the notice.
Welcome to Business News. I am Chiwendu Sisiego. The total credit from banks to the economy recorded a decline of 455 billion naira from 15.58 trillion naira as of the end of the third quarter of last year to 15.1 trillion naira in the fourth quarter. This is contained in the banking sector report released by the National Bureau of Statistics on Tuesday. The NBS in the report also said the total number of members of staff in banks increased by 1.8% from 102,821 in the third quarter of 2018 to 104,669 in the fourth quarter, adding that during the fourth quarter of last year, the sector recorded 616,528,697 transaction values at 39.15 trillion naira through electronic payment confirmation. The report stated that the Nigerian interbank settlement system instant payments transaction dominated the volume of transactions as it recorded 228,209,423 transactions valued at 23.57 trillion naira during the fourth quarter of last year. Based on the analysis of the report, the agricultural sector received 610.14 billion naira, power and energy 403.37 billion naira, construction 614.5 billion naira, trade and general commerce 1.07 trillion naira, while credit to the government was put at 1.36 trillion naira. In the same vein, the real estate sector received a total loan of 622.77 billion naira, finance, insurance and capital markets 1.1 trillion naira, education 57.25 billion naira, information and communications technology 545.49 billion naira, transportation and storage 289.85 billion naira, while other sectors got 339.73 billion naira. The decline in the volume of the naira persisted on Tuesday as it depreciated to 362.20 kobo per dollar in the investors and exporters window. Naira down to 362 naira 03 kobo per dollar in investors and exporters window. Data from financial market dealer quotation shows that the indicative exchange rate for the window rose to 362 naira 20 kobo per dollar from 362 naira 07 kobo per dollar on Monday, translating to 13 kobo depreciation of the naira. The volume of dollars traded on the window rose by 424% to $397.32 million from $75.84 million on Monday. However, the naira on Tuesday was stable at 359 naira per dollar in the parallel markets. That's the business news from Television Nigerian. I am Chiwendu Sisiego. Thanks for watching. The stock market witnessed a rebound on Tuesday as the investors gained 80 billion naira. The market capitalization of equities listed on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange increased from 12.004 trillion naira on Monday to 12.084 trillion naira on Tuesday, while the all-share index gained 0.67% to close at 32,406.17 basic points from 32,190.07 BPS recorded on Monday. Analysts at Afri Invest Securities Limited said the rebound witnessed by the market was due to buying interest in bellwether stocks such as Zenith Bank PLC, Guaranty Trust Bank PLC, and United Bank for African PLC, as the year-to-date return improved to 3.1%. Activities level also strengthened as 361.821 million shares valued at 4.160 billion naira exchanged hands in 4,623 deals, representing a 55.4% and 23.7% increase in volume and value traded respectively. The top traded stock by volume were Transnational Corporation of Nigerian PLC, 120.2 million units, Zenith Bank 37.3 million units, and FBN Holding PLC 31.2 million units, while Dangote Cement PLC 951.6 million naira, Zenith Bank 925.5 million naira, and GTB 778 million naira led the top traded stock by value. The top 5 gainers were Jackpot Oil and Maritime Services PLC, Sovereign Trust Insurance PLC, Associated Boss Company PLC, Custodian Investment and Academic Press PLC, which saw respective gains of 9.52%, 9.52%, 9.09%, 8.26%, and 8.11%. The top 5 losers were First Aluminium, Transnational Corporation of Nigeria, Wema Bank PLC, Unity Bank PLC, and Union Diagnostic and Clinical Services PLC, whose respective share prices shared 10%, 9.74%, 9.68%, 9.65%, and 6.90%.
Nigerian national beach volleyball team on Tuesday departed Kaduna after about 10 days camping to Ghana, the venue of the African volleyball competition. The team stated that their main aim in Ghana is to clinch one of Africa's tickets to represent the continent at the World Championship, while the head coach of the team, Ajilore Kayode, and his players are optimistic they will fare well at the competition because of their level of preparations and the quality of players they are taking to the competition.
The last time we qualified for the World Championship, the team that we had in camp, in fact, we compared with this team that we had in this camp, I would say this is the best. Because I don't think I've ever had it like this before. Because compared to the last one, it had to be a lot of fights. We put so many things, but at least with this crop of players that we have here now, I can assure you that it's going to be better even than the last one.
Mentally and physically prepared because we are the Eagles. Although the footballers use Eagles, but we will use Eagles too because we know we will fly high. We will fly high with what our coaches give us, and with the help of God, I'm sure we are going to come back with a good result.
In his address to the team, the President, Nigerian Volleyball Federation Engineer Musa Nimrod, charged the players to wake up because all the African countries are not pushed aside, but also expressed his confidence the team will get the tickets for the World Championship.
Male team, Nigeria is not sleeping. Neither in the female team, Nigeria is not sleeping. Most of these people now, they are no more interested in indoor. Call for indoor today, you will see either 3 countries or they will appear. Now you can see, even Cote d'Ivoire. You understand? They will not want to come. Even on this our West Africa, I know Gambia are also battling. Everybody now on a beach.
My expectation from the next president is that he should not be sectional. He should try as much as possible to create an enabling environment for everyone who is a Nigerian to feel like a Nigerian. A president of a nation is a president of all, not a president of a region or a religion. So my expectation is that he should consider in restructuring the country so that every part of the country and the system will work.
The next government that is coming should really go into mechanized agriculture, not this type that you give somebody loan of how much to go and, they should mechanize this agricultural sector in such a way that we'll have large volume of food coming out of that place.
The next elected president, what I expected to do to start with is to restructure this country, to give this power to the state so that the state can be powerful, so that every state can be viable, to reduce the migration from the state to the federal, and to give autonomy to local government so that local people can be developed. That is what I expect of them.
They will provide money in circulation, empower Nigerian youth, transform Nigeria out of insecurity and fatal corruption, and uphold the rule of law.
It should make sure that actually majority of our infrastructure revert back to back. We should make sure that agricultural have the buoyant backup so that we can be producing the cloth that we are looking for in abroad here. We are doing it here in Nigeria before.
Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Yakubu Mahmoud, today while addressing a stakeholders conference in Abuja, threw more light on the causes for the extension, or rather the postponement of 2019 presidential election, which were earlier scheduled to hold on Saturday, the 16th of February. The new date now announced is 23rd of February 2019. He cited logistic reasons as the reasons for the postponement. As expected, reactions have continued to trail this move by the nation's electoral umpire. Political parties, leaders of thought across board had expressed reservations about the reasons given by the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. And interestingly, the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, APC, including the President Muhammadu Buhari, has expressed reservation as well to the explanations given by the Independent National Electoral Commission's chairman. The presidency, from what we gathered, have ordered an investigation into circumstances surrounding that move, which has thrown a lot of dust right now in the politics. These are some of the issues we'll be looking at on this episode of Nigeria Today. I am Charles Ibe. Welcome on board. Now, to do justice to this topic today with me on set, I have a politician and a public affairs analyst. He is Ilesomi Andrew. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Charlie.
Yes, thank
How
you.
are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you.
Yes. Saturday, 16th of February. Many has been termed Holy Saturday, Silent Saturday, a lot of things on social media. They've described it severally, because on that day there was no wedding, there was no burial, there was nothing, there was no business, there was no movement. It was just a silent Saturday in the history of Nigeria. Starting with, how did you receive the news of that postponement?
If you look at it, we had so much assurance about this election. Tempers were high, emotions were high, everything went standstill. I'm sure there will never be a day like this again in Nigeria. But when it came, what do we do? Some of us have shock absorber. We expect anything. Nigeria is a wonderful country whereby if you go to sleep, if you wake up, you wake up. It means there's another day for you to forge. So an assurance is what a man gives you. He goes to bed. When he wakes up, he tells you another thing. So when Professor Mahmoud Yakub came up and said about 3 a.m. that the election was cancelled, it was a very real shock. But he knows that, okay, Nigeria will just make noise and everything will calm down. But he had 4 years to prepare for that day. 4 years. You should put everything in place. But the shock came. What do you do? So for us now as a politician, as an analyst, we go back to our drawing board. Okay, we start all over again. 1 week. Sunday is gone. We have 5 more days to go. So what do? We go back to the drawing board. We re-strategize and relaunch again, hoping that there will be no another rude shock for another postponement. We are hoping, not that we are sure that there won't be. So it came. So we just had to forge ahead. But I think it was a very big blow.
All right. Now, some people have expressed reservation, not on the announcement, but on the reaction, especially of the ruling party, the president and all of that, towards the announcement. Some have expressly expressed the fact that they believe that INEC was acting in concession with the ruling party vis-a-vis the presidency. What do you think?
Well, if you look at when the president reacted, he was also surprised.
In fact, he was even in Daura to cast.
He was in Daura in Katsina State, and all of a sudden he granted an interview, very brief one, and said he was also surprised. And all of a sudden he just took the next waiting flight back to Abuja. Well, what do we do? If you were the one, what would you say? You would say you are shocked. But for me, it looks like a calculated plan that this election should be cancelled. Because there was no reason for it to be cancelled. It's either you win or you lose. Somebody has to win the election. Whichever way it comes, someone, a political party, has to just emerge as the winner. So there was no need, but since it came, he reacted, pockets of people too reacted, the whole nation. It will not be forgotten in a hurry. Yeah. That is just what happened. So, but we had to just move on.
All right, prior to Saturday, there have been some issues, of which the INEC chairman did mention when he was addressing the stakeholders. He mentioned specifically sabotage, talking about the issue of the ballot box, PVCs that were burnt in Anambra, in Abia, and some other issues. But before then, after those incidences, he had continually assured Nigerians that they are ready. That even those instances that they have already mopped up support that will make up for the lost materials and all of that. And now, to dying minute, you now wake up and tell Nigerians that all of a sudden you are overwhelmed by the whole thing, and then the whole plan for the day was changed. Now, looking at critically, INEC, like you did mention, 4 years to plan for another election, and at the dying minute, what we have occurred. Would you vouch for INEC, given another 1 week? Would you say that come Saturday, the elections or the issues that prompted this election will not still crop up, to make sure that at the end of the day, the results are credible, free, and fair?
Charlie, let's go back to how we started. You had 4 years to plan. You failed for 4 years. You now had 1 week. How do you make up 1 week for 4 years? It's a very tough thing. You had 4 years. You planned for 4 years. The moment one election is over, you start planning for another election. You cancel what you have planned for 4 years. You now want to re-strategize for 1 week. How do you make up that? I told you from the beginning, assurance is what a man gives to you when he goes to bed. He wakes up and tells you another thing. You said you had logistic problem. So how would you make up this logistic problem in 4 years, in 1 week? What you have failed for 4 years, you want to make up for 1 week. It doesn't work that way. If all the things he has put in place didn't work for 4 years, how will he work for this 1 week? Saturday to another Saturday. Now, the trust now is that, are we going to have what we have? The confidence, the people that travel, the people that were not 18 years, 4 years ago, that have turned 18 years. The youth corps members that were left in the cold. Would they want to do that same thing? People who were craving to be an ad hoc staff. People who got stranded all over the nation. How do you reconvince them that, okay, let us do it all over again? Is it that you want to take advantage of the whole world? Look at Nigeria is a country whereby if Nigeria should sneeze, the whole world catch cold. Not just Africa. You know that. So, but like, let's still give him, let's not throw the baby away with the bathwater. Let's still give him another chance, hoping that he can make up, excuse me, for the breakup. That, okay, hearts are broken. Let's see how he can mend the broken hearts. That's just where we are right now.
Do you believe anything can change between a space of 4 days or 5 days? Like, for instance, if I've made up my mind I'm going to vote for this person and all of that, then giving room for more people to come and start making noise all over again, is it going to lead to some kind of confusion?
This election will change this nation.
You are convinced about that?
This election will change this nation. This is where we are deciding the affairs of this nation come the next 4 years and eternity. Whoever is coming in now might not be the Messiah, but I want to assure you that this is what decides how Nigeria is going to go about. our future depends on this election. So you can't afford to toil with it. People who have traveled, it's unfortunate, they traveled, they didn't make up, but I can assure you that people will still travel. He would have also opened this channel that you can still take 72 hours to collect your PVC. Let that window still open for a little while between now and Wednesday, or even between now and Thursday. You know, people will be a little bit okay. There'll be this a little bit, tension will come